Dr. Mubashir Fazal. Dr. Fazal is board certified in sleep medicine, hospital medicine, as well as family medicine. Dr. Fazal is also one of the very few doctors in this DMV region who specializes in both pediatric as well as
in the sleep center diagnostic facility, accredited organization. We have a great, excellent, very dedicated snoring, sleepiness, fatigue, and you have any. We are here with top of Welcome to Laurel Sleep Center, located 833 Cherry Lane. And let's welcome you leads to waiting area.
कभी इस तरह मेरे हम सफर सभी चाहते मेरे नाम कर, अगर हो सके तो कभी कहीं मेरे नाम भी कोई शाम कर। मेरे दिल के साए में आ जरा, मेरी धड़कनों में क़याम कर। ये जो मेरे लफ्ज़ों के फूल हैं, तेरे रास्ते की ये धूल है। कभी इनसे सुन मेरी दास्तां, कभी इनके साथ भी कलाम कर। कभी इस तरह मेरे हम सफर सभी चाहते मेरे नाम कर।
I am Novi with Lifestyle TV. Welcome everybody to Mount Vernon area, National Harbor area. We have a great crowd here, as you can see here. Ducks are there, so I get some great things. Keep watching Lifestyle TV. Take care.
Out with Dr. Moby. Don't go away.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My respected sisters and brothers, the name Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is coming in Quran 4 times. The first one in the Surah Al Imran, Juz 4 of Quran. Allah is saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, wa ma Muhammadun illa Rasul. The meaning of that is, Allah is saying that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second one in 22nd Juz of Quran, Surah Al-Ahzab, Allah is saying, مَا كَانَ مُحَمَّدٌ أَبَا أَحَدٍ مِّن رِجَالِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَخَاتَمَ النَّبِيِّينَ. So the second one is containing two parts. Allah is saying that Muhammad is messenger, also he is the seal of prophethood. The third one is with Muhammad, Allah is saying, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَآمَنُوا مَا نُزِّلَ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ. The meaning of Nuzil ala Muhammad, surely the Quran that's sent down to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. The fourth one in Surah Fatha, 26 Juz of Quran, Allah is saying, Muhammadur Rasulullah وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Here is also the description of messengership, but also there is zikr of, there is also description of the companion, the Sahaba Karam, وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ. There is nice beauty of these arrangements and beautiful placements of Lafz Muhammad in Quran. The first one is containing the messengership, the second one seal of prophethood, the third one Quran, the fourth one the companions. That means Risalat, Khatm Nabuwat, Quran and Sahaba. How is the beautiful is Quran. May Allah make this easy for us to understand Holy Quran. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, I'm Rocky Kramer, and you're watching Lifestyle TV USA.
Welcome to Colonial Beach, Virginia, and you can see somebody is welcoming us here right now. So let's check out and go closer to them. Hello, how are you all doing? Hey everybody, I'm at Colonial Beach. Look at this nice somebody welcome whatever I'm getting.
Dr. Mubashir Fazal. Dr. Fazal is board certified in sleep medicine, hospital medicine, as well as family medicine. Dr. Fazal is also one of the very few doctors in this DMV region who specializes in both pediatric as well as
in the sleep center diagnostic facility, accredited organization. We have a great, excellent, very dedicated snoring, sleepiness, fatigue, and you have any. We are here with top of Welcome to Laurel Sleep Center, located 833 Cherry Lane. And let's welcome leads to waiting area.
कभी इस तरह मेरे हम सफर सभी चाहते मेरे नाम कर, अगर हो सके तो कभी कहीं मेरे नाम भी कोई शाम कर। मेरे दिल के साए में आ जरा, मेरी धड़कनों में क़याम कर। ये जो मेरे लफ्ज़ों के फूल हैं, तेरे रास्ते की ये धूल है। कभी इनसे सुन मेरी दास्तां, कभी इनके साथ भी कलाम कर। कभी इस तरह मेरे हम सफर सभी चाहते मेरे नाम कर।
I am Novi with Lifestyle TV. Welcome everybody to Mount Vernon area, National Harbor area. We have a great crowd here, as you can see here. Ducks are there, so I get some great things. Keep watching Lifestyle TV. Take care.
नेशनल कमांड एंड ऑपरेशन सेंटर के ताज़ा तरीन आदादोशुमार के मुताबिक गुज़िश्ता 24 घंटों के दौरान 3,495 नए केसेस रिपोर्ट हुए। पंजाब में 1,91,186, सिंध में 2,62,207, खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में 77,443, बलोचिस्तान में 19,269, गिलगित बल्तिस्तान में 4,965, इस्लामाबाद में 49,476, जबकि आज़ाद कश्मीर में 11,264 केसेस रिपोर्ट हुए। मुल्क भर में अब तक 96,48,242 अफराद के टेस्ट किए गए। गुज़िश्ता 24 घंटों के दौरान 44,377 नए टेस्ट किए गए। अब तक 5,77,501 मरीज सेहतयाब हो चुके हैं, जबकि 2,062 मरीजों की हालत तशवीशनाक है। दूसरी तरफ NCOC के सरबराह वफाकी वज़ीर मनसूबाबंदी असद उमर ने खबरदार किया कि नई कोरोना लहर बहुत खतरनाक है और मुस्बत केसेस में तेजी से इजाफा हो रहा है, जिसके बायस हुकूमत अवामी सरगर्मियों पर सख्त पाबंदियां लगा सकती है। असद उमर ने ट्वीट करते हुए कहा कि कोविड मुस्बत केसेस में नुमाया इजाफा हुआ है। अस्पतालों में रोजाना मरीजों के दाखिले हो रहे हैं। इंतहाई निगहदाश्त वाले अफराद भी तेजी से बढ़ रहे हैं। अगर लोगों की जानिब से एहतियाती तदाबीर पर अमल दरामद बेहतर नहीं हुआ तो हम उनकी सरगर्मियों पर सख्त पाबंदियां लगाने पर मजबूर होंगे। वफाकी दारुल हुकूमत इस्लामाबाद में मेहनत कशों के लिए घर देने की तकरीब से खिताब करते हुए वजीर आज़म इमरान खान का कहना था कि किसी ने नहीं सोचा के लिए घर बनाए जाएंगे, हमने पीछे रह जाने वाले।
Hello, welcome everyone to NFL show with Brian and Moby. How's everybody doing? I hope they're watching games. Brian, did you watch some of those games?
Yeah, watched my team last Thursday pull out a close win against Cincinnati, and watched a few good games on Sunday. Caught some of the Dallas and Atlanta game, which was a really, really good game at the end there. And I think I watched Kansas City and the Chargers, and that went to overtime. Kansas City ended up pulling that one out, but some really, really good games this past week.
And I think Seattle also,
Yes.
really outperformed. Russell Wilson has lived up to his expectations, coach expectation for Bill Belichick, right?
Oh, yeah. He had a really good game, kind of lit him up. I think he had 4 or 5 touchdown passes in a really close game that came down with Seattle doing a goal line stand there to get the win.
And I'll be watching that game for sure. I think they're going to have with Baltimore this week.
Yes, that's going to be a great game. Kansas City, Baltimore. I think it's Monday night. Without looking at my sheet, I'm pretty sure I picked Baltimore at home.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. I think it's going to be a tight contest. I think that there's a lot of coin flip games, in my opinion, this week where it could go either way. So I don't think we'll see anybody with 15 wins this coming week like we had last week.
Okay. So let's do the recap.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, starting with Cincinnati-Cleveland last Thursday night, Cleveland gets the win. I think both of us picked Cleveland.
Yeah.
Then with Jacksonville-Tennessee, who did you take in that game?
Jacksonville.
Oh, you took Jacksonville. Okay. I went with Tennessee. They end up getting a close win there. Carolina versus Tampa Bay. I think we both picked Tampa Bay, correct?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay got the win in that game. Denver at Pittsburgh was a lot closer than I anticipated. I went with Pittsburgh, and I'm sure you did too. The black and gold.
Yeah, we both did.
So, how about Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I think I picked Rams, but
yes, I did too. Yep.
Yeah, so
Philadelphia starting 0-2. Kind of interesting. They had some defensive issues going on. They ended up making it a closer game than it started out, but they lost and went to 0-2. And then San Francisco at the Jets. Who did you have there?
San Francisco at the Jets. I think probably was San Francisco.
Yeah, that's who I picked. San Francisco's a lot of season-ending injuries to some key defensive linemen. Joey Bosa's out for the year, and I think it's going to be a different team defensively for San Francisco for the rest of the year.
For the rest, and they're playing this week too, and probably they're gonna win.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I forget who I picked there. I think it's they're playing the Giants. And
Giants. Yeah,
and I picked San Fran, but Buffalo, Miami. That was the one I said possible upset Miami, and they actually made it a really close game, but Buffalo gets a win. Josh Allen lit it up. I think he had like 4 touchdowns and I think 415 yards passing in that game. So he did unbelievable last week. So if you had him on your fantasy team, I'm sure you were very happy. Then Detroit at Green Bay. Who did you have there?
I think I had Green Bay. So.
Yeah, I took Green Bay. Atlanta, Dallas. We mentioned it a little bit. What a game that was. A big comeback for Dallas, getting the onside kick at the end of the game. Crazy game. I thought Atlanta had them beat, and they end up giving it away.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends who followed Dallas, and they were so excited.
Yeah. Jerry Jones was celebrating in his booth up there.
Just few celebrations which he can enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And then Giants at Chicago. I picked Chicago, and they won that one.
Yeah, I had Chicago too.
Washington at Arizona. We both, I think, picked Arizona, and that was Arizona win. Kansas City and the Chargers overtime win for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Really good game.
Yeah.
Houston and Baltimore. Baltimore with a victory there. I don't think that was a big shock. And then we had New England, Seattle. Seattle pulling that one out, like we said, with the goal line stand was an excellent game.
Yeah, I think it reminded me of the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I think this time they just came up with it. So.
Yeah, and then New Orleans and Las Vegas, the Raiders. They had their home opener, and they pulled out a win against New Orleans. I picked New Orleans in that game, so that was a loss for me.
I actually also picked New Orleans, unfortunately. So I think everybody, I'm looking at the pool, everybody except 2% picked New Orleans. So I think that's why whoever won 15.
Yeah, that's what it come down to was that game right there. I think you had 14 wins, I had 14 wins, and there was a couple had 15 wins.
15 wins, yeah.
So pretty impressive week by whoever. I don't remember who won it, but...
Oh, yeah, CJ, I think. So
just looking real quick at the stat leaders last week, Dak Prescott had 450 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Jonathan Allen for the Bills had 415 and 4 touchdowns. Running backs, you had Aaron Jones with 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb, 124 and 2 TDs. And the 2 leading receivers were Julian Edelman with 179 yards but no touchdowns, and Stephon Diggs with 153 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah. So those are pretty good. I think mostly what I really enjoyed was Seattle last few minutes. And I think Dak Prescott's performance was really amazing.
Very impressive.
So what do you have for this week?
This week is some tough games. So starting out with Miami and Jacksonville, I believe that's tonight's game. I picked Jacksonville.
Yeah, I picked too.
And then we have Houston at Pittsburgh. I'm going with your Steelers in this one. I think that'll be a close game, though.
Yeah, that'll be close.
Cincy is at Philadelphia. I'm going with the Eagles. So far, I've picked them.
Michelle will be happy.
I'm hoping they can get a win this week.
Yeah,
if they don't win this week, it could be a long year. Okay. Then how about San Francisco and the Giants?
I picked San Francisco, but I don't know.
I was torn on that game because, like we talked about, San Francisco, a lot of injuries. I think Garoppolo came up knee or something last Sunday. Like I said, a few defensive linemen are out for the year. I think Richard Sherman is out for a few weeks. So I could see the Giants winning. I did pick San Fran, but that could go either way.
So that could go, okay.
And then how about the Raiders in New England?
Raiders in New England, I think I picked New England.
I did too. New England at home. Although the Raiders are 2-0, but I'm going with New England. They lost a close one last week against Seattle, so I think they'll come back and get the win this week. And then you got Tennessee at Minnesota.
Yeah, I was torn between that because, but I think probably Minnesota plays better at home.
They're 0-2, and Tennessee, Derrick Henry's, he can run. So I went with Tennessee this week. I know it's in Minnesota, but
did they win last time, Tennessee?
Yeah, they're 2-0.
Oh, well, then I better change mine.
Remember what you said, though. Every time you change, you're wrong.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
And then Washington at Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be a pretty close game, though.
No, I picked Cleveland too.
Okay.
Sorry, Washington fans. So
I'm not, but
my neighbor is so.
Then you have the Rams at Buffalo. I think it's going to be a really good game, but I'm going with Buffalo at home.
Buffalo at home. I don't know. I went with Rams.
That's another coin flip, in my opinion. And then you have Chicago at Atlanta. Atlanta coming off that heartbreaker last week. I'm kind of going with Chicago. I was torn on this game as well. So.
And that is funny. You said that I picked first Chicago, then I looked at somebody's pick, and they said Atlanta. I said, okay, let's change it. Man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think, again, that's another game that could go either way. And then we have Carolina at the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yes, I mean to.
Then we have the Jets at Indy. Jets are 0-2. I believe Indy's 1-1. I'm going with Indy.
Same here.
Dallas 1-1 at 2-0 Seattle. I'm going with Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going with Seattle too, but this is gonna be a good game.
I think so. I think it will be, but I believe Seattle pulled this one out. And then Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Denver. I'm going with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, same here. I think I'm going with Tampa Bay too, and I hope Tom Brady still keeps performing. I think
like
they
you said,
won
in Tom we trust. So,
Tom, don't disappoint us.
Yeah, I think they'll get the win there in Denver. Detroit at Arizona. Arizona is looking really good. I went with Arizona in this one.
Okay, you went with Arizona. I think I also went with Arizona.
And then we have Green Bay at New Orleans. New Orleans coming off that loss last week to Vegas. I'm going with New Orleans, even though Green Bay's 2-0. I think this is going to be another close game. But I went with New Orleans.
I think it's very hard to imagine New Orleans losing in Dome.
Yeah, that'd be 2 losses in a row as well. So that's what I'm hoping for. I went with New Orleans, and then to me, this is probably the best game of the week. Monday nighter, Kansas City at Baltimore.
Yeah,
I'm going with Baltimore. I know Mahomes Super Bowl last year, but I think the Baltimore will get the win in a really, really probably high-scoring, good game.
Yes, I think we had also total points. I put 65.
I put 54. So
I thought 31 and 30 something like on those lines. It'll be high-scoring for sure. But I pick Kansas City.
Yeah, and again, I mean that's another game I think that could go either way. So
and that has a feeling of playoff games.
Yes, absolutely.
So it'll be probably whoever wins or loses, you will see this game gonna be replayed. That's my prediction. It'll be in one of playoffs for sure.
I agree with you on that one for sure.
So it'll be high scoring. So let's see. I have total of above 60. So let's see. If it's gonna, you wanna change your?
I should have changed. When you said that, I was thinking, man, I probably should have went 60 something, but I went with 54. I'm usually pretty conservative on the points. I usually 40 to tops 48. But Kansas City, Baltimore, I think you got some explosive offenses there. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting game.
Mm-hmm. And I think other thing we wanted were those. We got some feedback on the, watching TV at home and those cavemen.
The man caves?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you have some of those ideas? I think we got some we would like to share with the audience, so we'll show that. So I think you'll see that. So give us feedback, anybody watching, and we love to see your kind of lounge or area where you watch and see if you want to share with us. That would be excellent. Send us email, Twitter, whatever you like, and video, and we'll air that for our audience. Also, I think we got several callers calling in, and we'll be showing that also with reaction to one of the games. So we'll be also part of that.
Hey, Dr. Moby and Brian. Michelle here with her Week 3 pick of the week. I'm going to go with my boys, the Philadelphia Eagles, over Cincinnati, 24-17. I think after last weekend, Carson Wentz is going to come back in front of the hometown and play the way we know he can. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Thank you, Michelle, for comments. And I will definitely get more feedback. I think everybody should try to send us their favorite team and why they think they will be in playoffs. Love to hear from everyone and get an idea about as the season progresses. So, Brian, do you have...
This week, looking at the schedule, possibly, I don't know if you'd even call it an upset, but maybe the Giants beating San Francisco, pulling out a win in Philly would be two that stand out to me.
And I think those teams will probably do something to stay in the season. I think if you lose, 4 games, then it's probably...
Well, the stats say people that start or teams start at 0-2, their chances of making the playoffs are a lot less than being 1-1.
So what about?
I'm sure 0-3 is even less. So.
And what about 0-4?
Yeah, 0-4 would probably be slim to none.
So I think if anybody wants to kind of reverse their season, probably this is the time. So I think. And the other thing I think we love to hear also is some plays. So if you have an idea about a play that watching the game and if you thought that play should have been like this, give us your feedback. I will be happy to share that with our audience. Thank you for watching our show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Hi, I am Sherry Nelson, and I hope you keep watching and enjoying Lifestyle TV Channel USA.
We do this. Oh, just a minute, it's a technical thing that I'm doing here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sharing this live on Facebook and YouTube. So thank you once again for tuning in. So today we have got Ben and myself. So a little bit commercial today before we dive in with Ben as his last show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been such a great honor to have you. It's such a great honor to have Ben to be with us for the last 3 shows, and today is his final show, the 4th show. According to history, it's been such a wonderful month in February to have this international co-host all over the world. For the whole of February to be talking about the prolonged pandemic wherever they are, to share their life stories wherever they are, and to revisit the February special, the prolonged pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to us, I hope that you can view today's show, and if you missed the live show, you can always come back again on the digital world. Come to Talk About Live, share the episodes, and share these favorite episodes and your favorite co-hosts to your friends for 2021, the prolonged pandemic, and 2020, the global pandemic. And today we've got Ben Kitchens, and after him we've got Jessica Dawn Russell, and after that Dr. Moby, who's going to be the closing episode for the whole series. And then we've got an encore show from Wendy Wise from Florida. So you've got it, 4 co-hosts today, back to back. It's a wonderful show we have for you, ladies and gentlemen, and all of them from the US. So we've got Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, where Ben Kitchens is, and then we've got Jessica Dawn Russell from California, and then Dr. Moby from Virginia, and then we've got Wendy Wise from Florida. So the world is being taken over by America. That's the superpower we're talking about. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome the final show with Ben Kitchens. He is the podcaster ranked 110 in the world for his podcast, The History Voyager. Welcome so much, Ben. Welcome you to the final show to Singapore for the prolonged pandemic. I thank you so much for your past 3 episodes that is so illuminating, that tells us what's happening in the US. Tell us today what's your what's your theme for today, and let's talk about what's our plan here on after the February. Ben, the floor is yours. Say hi.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Well, let's see. After the pandemic, well, in America, I don't know when. I mean, the popular narrative in this country is that we'll be out of here by 2022. I guess. I don't know. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school for history and I have education and filmmaking and that kind of thing. I didn't go to school for epidemiology, so I don't actually know. But I do kind of think things are going to be very different. I mean, if you think about working from home but also I noticed something the last few days. I have two groups of friends, right, in real life. A group of friend A is, hey, I talked to somebody from Singapore today, and they always want to go, oh my God, you talked to somebody in Singapore? Wow, oh my God, wow, that's, or like yesterday I did a very fast impromptu podcast with a man in Slovakia, and this is what drove it home, right? This is what drove this home. I had this conversation 3 times yesterday. The first time was I talked with him. I had a podcast with a man in Slovakia, and they were like, yes, and right. What did you talk about? And what? You're not gonna pause? And how did you talk to Slovakia? What happened? It's an amazing world that we live in.
Yeah, exactly.
The legacy.
Eastern Europe.
The legacy for me for the pandemic is how small the world is.
Yes.
You know, for me, it's how small the world is. And I hope going forward, I never forget that. I hope I never forget that, you know, like you can talk to people in Slovakia at the drop of a hat. You know, somebody can text you and oh, I got to tell you, I had this amazing experience this week. There's a piece of software I use to record folks all over the world.
Wow.
It's called Zencaster, and it was having a problem. And so I just put on Reddit. You know what Reddit is. I put on Reddit, hi, I'm having problems with my sound. Who wants to come on my show and do a podcast? And if it works and it's any good, I'll release it. You would not believe the responses I got. I mean, I'm going to be doing so much podcasting next week. It's going to be nuts. But so it was very humbling to realize that when I say that I'm the 110th most listened to podcast, that's a number. But to get the responses I got was just staggering. So, and I hope this continues. I hope that this kind of, you know, this way of talking to people, this way of communicating with folks, I hope it continues. Now, in terms of what that means for the country, I think maybe it means that we become, as Americans, we become more international or more outward looking as far as our connections and as far as our not for the government, for the people. You know, the people become more outward looking. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I have no idea, you know, what this world is going to look like in 2022, or, you know, once you vaccinate everybody, are we going to want to go back to normal? Is the question. I mean, to some extent, maybe, but, and the other thing I was thinking about, I think I told you, in fact, I know I did. I was a journal, I wrote on some of the early stories about the housing crash of 2008. Like, I was literally the first journalist that I read that said, hey, there's a thing that's coming over the hill, the housing crash of 2008, and how that impacted people psychologically, socially, you know, spiritually even. I mean, it really impacted people. I wonder what this pandemic is going to do when it's over. Because for sure, people died because of the housing crash. But 500,000 people in this country
in America died.
And they're still like, we don't know. I mean, there's so many symptoms of this thing, and there's so many ways it can kill you.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a number. You know, that's just that number is going to keep growing, you know, years after this is over. But so I don't have any analytics for you or anything like that, but I do think this is a watershed moment, a watershed point
of mankind.
In our for mankind, exactly, for mankind. There's a story, one of my first interviews that was international. I was talking, actually I think it might have been the first one. I was talking with this man who's an expert. He's an expert in cryptocurrency and in the world. Well, he's more than that. It's not just cryptocurrency. It's the financial aspects of the technical aspects of finance is what he's an expert in. And he and I had the exact same experience on the exact same moment earlier that day. He had bought his mother an Apple iPhone, and I had bought my father an Apple iPhone, and it was the same model phone. And both of our parents were like, you know, can you show me how to do something on this phone? And you know, Apple iPhones don't exactly have back buttons, right? They do, but you have to find it. To find it. And both of us, we figured it out. Both of us at the same time in two different languages said, would it kill Steve, or would it kill the head of Apple, right, to make a back button on his phone? Would it, you know, at the same moment in two different countries, in two different languages, we had this thing happen. And you know, I'll just,
I know
these differences that we have, they're not real. That we think we have, you know, they're not real. You know,
the differences are not real. Well said.
I get it. I mean, you know, like, I don't know. This whole thing has been very humbling for me, honestly. So what about you? What are you going to do next?
Thanks for the question, Ben. You know, I have a lot of plans in mind, and you know, I just want to answer your question with respect. You know, a lot of things have gone through my mind during this 2020 and 2021. It has not been easy, and it has not been easy mentally, emotionally, just being in the cloud of uncertainty, right? And also for February special, the show, it has not been easy for me, though I tried to make it fun. It looks easy. I always try to make things look easy. Whatever things I do, you know, I feel it. Before I answer your question, I just want to, you know, put this in context for the viewers. 2021, the February special, I have this this thought in my heart that, you know, the whole world comes together as one, and this is exactly what Ben has said. I'm totally echoing him that the differences are not real, and I think that we should accept differences, meaning that differences do exist, right? I mean, Some people have blonde hair, some people have black hair, some people have other kinds of hair. I mean, some people like their hair blue and green. They want to dye orange and yellow. I mean,
Yeah.
I think differences do exist, but I think we have to accept differences. And if the pandemic has taught us anything, and the virus, when it enters into anybody's body, the first thing that they would say to each other, the virus, is that if we can go into the mind of a virus, like a cartoon, it's not going to ask, like, what faith are you? What language do you speak? Which country you come from? You know, it doesn't care your faith. I mean, if that is one thing that comes out, like, because in 2020 and 2021, I have searched a lot, and I think I have grown a lot, meaning that I've grown a lot because I realized that I wasn't growing before, even though, you know, economically speaking, professionally speaking, I was like, go, 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 you know, trying to chart the different personal milestones, financial milestones, career milestones, you know, that satisfaction of you knowing that you can do it all on your own. You know, it's always that, you know, like putting things aside, putting the humanitarian, spiritual things aside. And spiritual, I'm not talking about like just prayers, but spiritual as the human spirit. For example, sharing, love, care, concern in a very deep sense of the word. I'm talking about the human part of the spirit. So, I mean, a lot of us do not remember these are important things. I mean, I remember this when I was young, right? When you are studying in the university, you search about who you are, what you want to do, what is your legacy. You know, you do a lot of thinking when you're young, but then later on, because you have to gear your life towards life goals, I mean, you turn towards a lot of things that becomes expedient, pragmatic person, being a pragmatic person, and just being a person in an economic machine. You know, in this economic machine and economic cycle, there is always like grow, 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 and go, go, go. You know, and also go, go. I mean, the human goals. So you've got all the three G's: growth, goal, and goals. But you know, I think the real goals, the real growth comes in unseen places, in intangible forms. And I think I've done that in a very humble way in 2020 and 2021. Especially if you want to talk about spiritual growth. And I mean, whichever spiritual faith you are in, I think we have to look into respect your kind of faith. And for me, it's me and my Bible. You know, I've never took out the Bible for the whole part of my life. It's always collecting dust, you know, etc. But you know, just to give you a snapshot of my growth, is I made it a point to pray for Singapore, and I made it a point to pray for all nations and people. I pray for people to have the discipline. And the discipline, it means the discipline to just caring for yourself and caring for your neighbors. When I mean caring for yourself, means wearing the mask, social distance, and caring for yourself, taking care of it. When you take care of yourself, you are taking care of your family. I mean, this is such how should I say, it's such a weird situation, because you have to take care of your neighbors. And when your neighbors are safe, you are safe. I mean, look at that in a total paradigm shift of the world. Yeah, so I think I did grow, humbly speaking, I did grow. And why I do the February special is because I really feel that the world has come together. And I really wanted to document history. You know, this is such a enormous, humongous, huge point that the world is pivoting to an unknown, from a world that we know is going to go so fast towards AI, the fourth industrialization, 5G, you know, and then we are now pivoting to a new unknown, whereby we just put a break on our lives, we put a break on the you know, it's just putting a break on everything on our lives. So yeah. I feel that February special to me is a personal milestone, but it's also, I feel that I have to do it. I took it as a job. Then I took it as a job to serve my 12 co-hosts and it grow. I took it as my job to make sure that everyone feels okay, they feel happy, and I want to make it such a way that it's fun for everyone. And I want to see it through and follow through to the end, like today, 28th of February, which is something that we have a social covenant with the people, because we told them we're going to be here for you. So we have to deliver. We have to deliver our promises as a social covenant to the people who are tuning in, to the listeners, to the viewers, to our show, wherever they are, and we don't know them. But it's a promise that we do and a promise that we deliver. And, you know, I'm glad that we have come to this point, Ben and you and myself. Kudos to you and a big pat on your back. I feel it's my job. I feel it's a sense of responsibility. And to answer your question now, after all this prologue, is that I want to focus more on taking this conversation offline. And, you know, people like yourself and myself, we are podcasters, right? Once the mic starts, we flow. We can go nonstop and we can talk for hours and hours and hours, because we've got so much content that we want to share, because we found our voice and we're not afraid to speak our voice. Bearing in mind, we still need to be responsible for our voices, right? We need to be sensitive. We need to be responsible for what we say and not to harm our neighbors. That is very, very fundamental. Being a responsible global citizen is not to harm your neighbors with your voice, and that's very important. And I feel that a lot of people are hesitant to come online. A lot of people, especially Asians, they do not want to come online. They do not want to be recorded. They do not want to be seen. No, it's just okay. A couple of things. A lot of people are just camera shy. And just to answer you, using myself as a case study, 2020 is a personal milestone for me, because it's the milestone because I took it as a personal breakthrough that to be in front of the camera. I never wanted to be in front of the camera, and I never wanted to be out there in the YouTube world, because I just wanted to do my YouTube channel since I've started in 2016, many different channels that some of them are closed, that I never wanted to be on camera. And this is so with a lot of Asians. People are just camera shy. We're not eloquent. We don't look good. We have this sense of insecurity, and we are afraid to be recorded by the government, to be checked, and then to be held responsible for the words that you say. So, you know, a lot of us are not comfortable in going online, and that goes with a lot of Singaporeans, a lot of friends of mine. So I want to take this conversation offline. To people who needs to be heard, who needs to voice out. I take it a sense of social responsibility. And to let Ben know, it is not so much a mission. I'm not a person with a messianic spirit. You know, I've come to this stage in my life that I feel I'm so blessed. I feel that I do need to pay it forward to the world, to the society, to the community that has built me up. But I'm not like looking at to change the world, because I know that that part of me when I was young is long gone. I'm just taking it step by step. If I can affect someone, even in a podcast, if there's some word that we say that we can encourage someone, I've done my job. So I'm taking this offline after February. That's to answer your question.
I mean, the thing, you know, when I was a kid, a college kid, I thought I was gonna, you know,
change the world.
Change the world, be a professor.
Yes, I thought so too. I know I can't change the world.
You know, but I think about it now. I think about all the people that I'm educating over a podcast.
Yes.
And it's just
amazing.
It's so humbling.
Yes.
It's
That's
so
right.
humbling.
That's right, Professor.
It's so humbling, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like I think I told you the story about I called Apple about my dad's phone, and the guy at Apple recognized my voice from a podcast.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
So I guess like is first of all, look outward and
Yeah.
realize that, you know, but also realize that anybody, if you have talent, is going to find, if you do this, if you have talent, and you get on social media and you boost it on social media, you're going to find an audience, you know, you're going to find an audience. And it's just amazing all the, you know, the stories I've heard about so and so listens to your podcast, and I was like, really?
You know, I'm growing into your podcast too. You know, I feel that you're such a friend, and you know, I like I'm growing into your podcast because I like your voice. You're such a soothing voice that is like has such a calming effect on the mind. And you can listen to it for a long time. I mean, a voice like me, you can't listen to it for like hours. I think you can listen to it for maximum like an hour. You know, years ago when I was teaching in the Polytechnic, you know, I used to I have to have this energy for students. I mean, I have to. Otherwise, the students would be at the back. They'll be listening to the earphones, and they'll be like doing funny things with the phone at the back. I mean, if you don't have the kind of energy, you can't command the class. I mean, that comes with the territory of a teacher, right? Someone who is facing like all these young adults, the teenagers, you know, they're just going everywhere with their minds. But you know, with you and your podcast, you know, I'm growing into it so much because you're such a calming voice. You're such a voice that can tell a very difficult story out and yet don't feel angry about it, and people can tune in, you know. And especially I think in times like this in America, when like you did emphasize a couple of times that in the country is really divided, and I think people can read in the news, right? The same piece of news is just being chopped to pieces on both sides.
You know, I mean, an example, you know, okay, so the Senate or the House just voted on the COVID relief bill, and the bill polls at 75% of the American people. But anybody who looks at that poll, we're just like, did you ask Republicans? You know, I mean, seriously, they don't. I don't know. So we'll see if the Senate passes this bill. I think they might, or some version of it. I hope they do, because people, you know, people are hurting, and it's even basic services like the mail, the U.S. mail. Okay, I read a story on Twitter from a friend of mine. His mother, her bills are 3 months late getting to her house. You know, like her bills, her paper bills. I have Netflix DVD. Do you know what Netflix is? I'm assuming you do.
I do subscribe to Netflix. Yeah.
I have Netflix, the DVDs. I have this DVD was 2 months coming to me in the mail.
Wow. I mean, usually it just takes like 1 day, right?
Yeah, usually it's 1 day, but this DVD took 2 months to come to me. So I am so glad that we pay all our bills online. I've heard so many horror stories from people that I know, both in real life and on Twitter. It's just, oh my God. And that's the thing, I think I said this last week, but that's the thing, like 2020 and 2021 are going to be the years where people realize that the internet is not a toy, it's a tool, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew it was a tool. I used it for work, etc., and so on. But so many people, I hear that story over and over again. like I didn't know that I didn't, that you needed to be able to do this and that and so on and so forth. So I don't know how this is going to go later, but I'm genuinely hopeful.
Yeah, yeah, and is there a reason why it's taking like a few months? Is it because of the pandemic situation that workers are being laid off, and then borders are being closed even among states, etc.? Is that the reason?
Well, okay, what's going on basically is a couple of things. Okay. So, all right, what's going on is so the president, or the ex-president, President Trump, he wanted to slow down the mail to keep from losing the election. So that's what happened.
I see.
So
Now, how do you slow down the mail? I mean, you got to take the workers out.
Well, basically, they took out machines. They took out sorting machines. They took out what else did they do? Okay, and they did it in heavily Democratic areas. Now, Vicky, the problem with that, from an American logistical standpoint, is most Americans live in Democratic areas. Okay, like, so when you impact the mail in, say, major cities, you're going to impact the mail everywhere. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's basically what happened. And is anybody going to face charges with it? I don't know. The Republican Party doesn't want to function as a political party anymore. I don't think. I don't know. I've studied politics for years and years and years. This is strange. This last several years is just so strange. A friend of mine said that Trump was a wartime president and the war was the American culture war. So, but hopefully that we're going beyond that. I hope. But anyway.
Do you see any lifting up of the hopes now?
Of the
number one, the vaccination has already gone to 56 million. The last news I read yesterday from Washington Post that was sent to me by my email, it's about 53 or 56 million already, and America's got like 200 million population, right?
350. Well, there are 350 million people who answer the census.
Okay, that's a big proportion. I mean, 56 million is a big proportion of the people. If they're only vaccinating adults, then you're on your way to success, to completion by the end of the year, which is what your doctor says, your Dr. Fauci says. So do you see there's any lifting up of the situation, and plus the political situation also?
Do I see any lifting up of the political situation? No. No, I see a lifting up of the American people, at least those who wish to be lifted up.
Yep.
But our politics, are what is the word I want? There's a word.
Disenfranchised.
basket case. Our politics are a basket case. That's an American. That's an American crazy. The
What does
crazy. It means
just
chaotic, crazy,
chaotic, yeah.
unfixable.
Unfixable.
Look,
yeah.
you can't. I told you last week.
Yeah.
How you have people that think Joe Biden is, or President Joe Biden is controlling weather satellites, and